How's it going, friends? There's been another major conservative victory in Europe, this time in Austria. The Freiheitliche Partei Österreichs, or Austrian Freedom Party, took first place in the Austrian general election with about 29%. This party was originally founded in 1956. It's been a major party for over 30 years now. However, there's been some pretty wild ups and downs. But they've never come in first place before, and this is the highest vote total they've ever gotten. And the current leader, Herbert Kickl, openly campaigned on a platform of mass deportations and what he calls Festung Österreich, or Fortress Austria, and in turn, Festung Europa. Essentially saying it's time to keep the illegal aliens out and end the asylum scam. Now, there's a backlash all across Europe right now. People are finally, all at once, seem to be saying, why have we kept this asylum scam going for decades now when virtually everyone who applies for asylum is committing asylum fraud? It's time to end it, and it's time to deport people back to their safe country of origin. The Austrian Freedom Party is similar to the AfD in Germany, except the AfD is a far younger party. So the Austrian Freedom Party has a different relationship with the establishment center-right in Austria than the AfD has in Germany. I made a whole video about this recently. I'll post a link in the description below. But essentially, because the Austrian Freedom Party is much older, they are competing for some of the same voters with the center-right Austrian People's Party. When one of the two parties goes up in support, the other one tends to come down, and vice versa. And for this reason, the Austrian People's Party, which is an ally of the CDU in Germany, well, they haven't really been able to go as far to the left as the CDU has out of necessity. It would just be too suicidal because they would lose too many voters to the Freedom Party. And there have been, on two occasions, national coalitions between the center-right People's Party and the Austrian Freedom Party, although both times they were cut short. The Austrian Freedom Party was founded in 1956 as a liberal party. Now, I mean liberal in the traditional European sense, not the modern American sense. So in America, we just call someone liberal if they're a leftist. That's not what liberal is supposed to mean. Historically, it meant free markets, capitalism, greater personal freedom, limitations on government power. And in the 50s, 60s, 70s, well, it was probably very similar to the Free Democrats in West Germany. Both were liberal parties, and both were known for promoting patriotism. Whereas some of the other parties thought that, all the German people should grovel over World War II. Now, during the 50s, 60s, 70s, and into the 80s, Austria primarily only had two parties in power, the People's Party and the Social Democrats. So it was kind of like the Republicans and the Democrats in America. And the Austrian Freedom Party would generally get 5 or 6% of the vote. They were the third largest party, but they were still very small. And those would be the only three parties in parliament. Now, in the 80s, you start seeing some new parties form. The 80s is when the Freedom Party started getting bigger. They got a new leader named Jörg Haider, who's really famous. And he became the governor of Carinthia in Austria. Under Jörg Haider, the party started getting around 20% in general elections. And in 1999, they even formed a ruling coalition with the People's Party. Now, Jörg Haider also transformed the party and made it much more of a national conservative party. And there was also a splinter group. The more left-wing elements of the party split off and founded Liberal Forum, which essentially today is called New Liberal Forum, which is one of Austria's current left-wing parties. And New Liberal Forum could be described more along the lines of like left libertarian. In 2017, the Austrian Freedom Party did extremely well. They formed another ruling coalition with the People's Party. However, then there was this huge multi-million-dollar intelligence operation that broke a bunch of laws, but no one was ever prosecuted, in order to get embarrassing video of the current leader at the time, Heinz Christian Stracke, essentially drinking alcohol and saying things to embarrass himself. Now, he doesn't say anything illegal, but it embarrassed the party, and Kurz used it as an excuse to break up the ruling coalition, and he declared that the People's Party would never, ever, ever coalition with the Freedom Party ever again. That was it. And the media said that the Freedom Party was done for, and they did go way down in the polls, and they did bad in the 2019 EU election. Well, Kurz himself was then in an even bigger, worse scandal. He was forced to resign by his own party. The Austrian Freedom Party has made this huge comeback. They're bigger than they've ever been before. They're bolder than they've ever been before. They're more important than they've ever been before because the situation is so bad. So the results as they stand right now is the Freedom Party with 28.8%, the People's Party 26.3%, the Social Democrats with 21.1%, New Liberal Forum, which, as I said, is basically a reboot of an Austrian Freedom Party splinter group from the 90s, which is a left-wing party now, 9.2%. And then the Green Party only got 8.3%. The Green Party did very bad. In both Austria and Germany right now, the Green Party is imploding. And in Germany, in just the past few days, a bunch of the leaders of the Green Party have all resigned. Now, the big question is, will the People's Party form a ruling coalition with the Freedom Party, or will they do like Sebastian Kurz did in 2019 and form a ruling coalition with the left? Now, the People's Party formed ruling coalitions with the Freedom Party in 1999 and 2017, neither of which ended well. Like I said, Sebastian Kurz said the People's Party would never form a coalition with the Freedom Party ever again, but he's completely irrelevant now. All right, thanks for watching this video. Click the like button, post a comment below, tell me what you think about this, and click the subscribe button. New video every few days.